This is a very interesting question. Acharya Krishnamacharya had two interesting answers. Acharya Krishnamacharya said that a child can start practicing yoga when it is able to eat on its own. Now that means that when the child is able to empower itself, the child is able to start practicing yoga. This is very significant because yoga is a process of self-empowerment. So when a person is able to do something, when the person is able to do something on their own, they can start practicing yoga. Among the first forms of nourishment, self-nourishment, is eating. Eating is the way we nourish ourselves, we give ourselves prana, because ultimately the end result of the metabolic process is energy. So that's why when Acharya Krishnamacharya said when a child is able to eat on its own, that means it's able to start doing something to nourish itself. Now this is what is yoga. Yoga is a process of self-nourishment and self-care. So the moment a child is able to do this, we can start to introduce some aspects of yoga. Simple asanas, for example, simple movements, for example. Already this can be introduced to a child at this age. Normally it's like 4 or 5 years old when the child is able to do that. Nowadays maybe they are doing it younger, but traditionally when the child was about 4 or 5 years, it would start eating by itself. And it's not just taking a couple of morsels, and it's actually able to feel the hunger and ask for food and is able to take the food from the plate and finish it. That's when the child is ready for yoga. In the traditional Vedic times, when the child was around 8 years old, the child would be initiated into a procedure called the sacred thread ceremony, where a sacred thread would be put around the child, after which the Gayatri mantra would be taught, and how to practice that Gayatri mantra would be taught. Now this procedure of how to practice the Gayatri mantra includes mantra practice, nyasa practice, pranayama practice, and of course some asana practice as well. So as you can see, by around 8 years old, the child was already engaged in yoga practices in a good way. So the answer to this question is when the child is able to start to eat on its own, the child is ready for yoga practices. At a philosophical level, Acharya Krishnamacharya provided a second beautiful insight. Acharya Krishnamacharya said, when the child takes its first breath after it comes out of the mother's womb, it begins its first yogic step. And when we take our last breath, when we depart from this world, we actually take our last yogic step. So yoga can be practiced from the time we are breathing, the moment we are born, till the last breath we take in our life. Namaste.